Hi, everyone. I'm Steve Ferreira. You're watching the Cloud Therapist channel.
Hello and welcome to the Craft Therapist Shorts. I'm Richard Simon. This video is the first in what will hopefully be a three-part series of short talks on value stream management. Let me introduce my guest who is going to be taking us through all of the details, Steve Pereira, aka the Value Stream Guy. Steve is a board advisor of the Value Stream Management Consortium. He's also founder of Visible Value Stream Consulting, and he also runs Toronto's DevOps community since 2011 and has also been in the IT and tech industry for the last 20 years. So quite a busy guy. Steve, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. So Steve, we said we're kind of going to sort of do like a three-part series of talks, and hopefully in this part we're going to cover what is value stream management. So let's get going on that and kind of give us a sort of an intro into VSM, please.
Yeah, I'd love to. So value stream management is kind of the newest term for something that has been around for quite some time and in a couple of different contexts. So what originated as value stream management really came out of automobile manufacturing. So it was the process for managing the flow of work throughout a factory out to customers. And it wrapped up everything that it took to sort of build and deliver an automobile, all the way from the raw materials out to the customer buying the automobile and driving it off the lot. And it was really important to understand that whole end-to-end process to find out where the organization should target its efforts. And if you're going to improve something, you want to be improving the most critical bottleneck or the most critical constraint. Otherwise, you could be wasting your time on something that ultimately doesn't matter, doesn't actually impact the end result, which is delivering value to a customer. So right. Value stream management kind of arose out of this practice of looking at end-to-end processes of work and trying to find out where should we be focusing our attention, where could we be improving. And this has now sort of come into software out of a couple of different fields coming together. So we got really good at building software with Agile. We got really good at building and operating software with DevOps. We wrapped all that up in various different terms like the software delivery lifecycle, ALM, application lifecycle management, and value stream management is really kind of connecting all of that evolution to the historical origins in this body of work that really traveled this territory before. A lot of what we're learning in software is coming from things that were already solved and already discovered in the real world. And we're starting to realize there's a lot that we can be learning. There's a lot that we can be connecting to in the physical development of products. Now in the digital space with a few minor differences, but there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to leverage from that prior knowledge that can be useful in software. And so value stream management is kind of pulling all that together and collecting all the good things that we know about what works in getting value to customers sooner and doing that most effectively. And it's this growing field because we're now looking beyond the boundaries of DevOps, because DevOps has worked. It's been very useful and people have seen a lot of success. And they're starting to look upstream from development into things like product design and portfolio management, and then downstream into things like success, release management, managing engagement, and capturing the actual value that we're delivering with all this effort. And so this total end-to-end is what we're calling value stream management, in a way of connecting all these dots of the past, and the future of where we're headed with software.
Cool, excellent. So, so I'm really kind of keen to understand also, who can actually use it, and when is actually a kind of a situation where it can be used, and how does it kind of fit into maybe like a client's process or something, or even just, as you said, somebody's kind of developing software and kind of like a sort of a product management sort of perspective.
Yeah, well, that's a really interesting area to explore, because when I think about value stream management, and part of why I'm so passionate about it is that I see it providing value in so many different contexts for so many different roles across the entire organization, because it really is the practice of looking at work across everything that it takes to deliver value to a customer. And so every role in the organization has a part to play in value stream management. You're either managing actively, looking at how are things going and where should I be focusing attention, where should we be focusing our attention, or you're participating in the value stream and you want to understand what is upstream of me and how can that affect my performance, and then how am I affecting things that are downstream for me, who I'm handing the work to, what's going to happen after I'm done with my piece. And it's really powerful for individual contributors because it sort of puts your work in the context of the big picture, so that you can understand that you're part of this team doing this relay race where the work is a baton that gets passed from individual roles to other roles, but it's in service of getting over that finish line of delivering value to customers. Right. So if I'm a product owner, what I care about is, am I going to meet my delivery targets? Are we going to get the things that the customers are asking for to the customers on time? And is it going to look like what we hoped it would look like? Right? Are we going to make our targets? And from another perspective, if I'm doing a cloud migration and I'm moving applications from one region to another region, or maybe I'm duplicating workloads so that I have redundancy or something. Any sort of migration activity, it all follows this process, and it can all be represented as work flowing through a value stream where the end customer is internal to the business, right? Probably some stakeholder who is looking to accomplish a specific goal of having all the applications present in multiple regions, or maybe duplicated across multiple clouds. And so the value stream would be dedicated to that effort. And you'd be able to look at, okay, how is the work of moving this portfolio from location A to location B progressing? Are we going to meet our targets? Are we at an effective velocity? Are we seeing adequate quality throughout that process, so that what comes out the other side is to our specifications? Right. And there's any number of processes in a business that can follow this model, which is another reason why I think it's so valuable. You could look at things like a hiring pipeline. You can look at a sales process as a value stream. Anywhere you have a customer, whether it's external to the business or internal to the business, you do have a value stream if you want to look at it like that.
Sure. So yeah, so obviously lots of areas where it's applicable, lots of processes where it's applicable, and useful, as you said, in kind of identifying bottlenecks and things like that. That seems to be, I think, a sort of one of the things that it's works really well with it. So just and you mentioned obviously kind of areas where it can benefit. You mentioned, I think, cloud migration, but obviously a lot more in that sort of DevOps space when you're obviously developing a product, a software product, and trying to really get that into production or whatever where it happens to kind of be going, and also for kind of maybe larger sort of engagements, like sort of a digital transformation where you're actually doing more than one product. How would that kind of How would you sort of break that down when it's kind of a larger project?
Yeah, that's a great area to dig into. So ultimately, the interesting thing about value streams is that workflow isn't actually a linear stream, right? It's not that simple. So a value stream is kind of a simplified representation of something that we know is very complex and sort of branches out in different ways, and it's dependent on other things. So you've got all these connections. And so ultimately, what a real business looks like is a network of value streams, right? A network of interconnected nodes where work is flowing through that system, and it goes from role to role, departments, silos, sometimes out to partners. Sometimes it goes out to an app store, and then that's how your customers consume it. So it's not so simple to represent it in a linear way, but when we represent it in a linear flow, we can actually understand it very clearly, right? So we have to sort of simplify it to understand it and make really good decisions, but also to communicate it between different people and effectively work on the value stream. It helps to simplify it. So that starts representing the difference between a more complex reality of interconnected value streams, where you have that value stream for hiring new candidates. You also have a value stream for marketing. You have value streams. You have internal value streams for sort of building out platforms that other teams use. And that gets to another way to represent value streams that I think helps simplify a real complex environment. And that is, there's a separation between core value streams and supporting value streams. And when I think of a core value stream, I think of the reason that your company's in business, right? If your product is providing a CI/CD platform for your customers, and they sort of build out their own CI/CD processes on your platform, and that's what they pay you for, that would be your core value stream. And every effort that you undertook was hopefully either directly contributing to that within the core value stream or supporting it in supporting value streams. And so supporting value streams would be things like your hiring funnel and your hiring process to make sure that you always have talent available. Things like your sales process, right? That's supporting your core business of building and delivering your CI/CD platform as a service. And so you can start to see this network of value streams in the organization where they're all kind of dependent on each other, and you have this rough hierarchy of core streams versus supporting streams. And it's very clear where you have external customers, where you have partners who are pseudo customers, and then you have internal customers who depend on your services and products.
Cool, excellent. Well, Steve, appreciate you kind of giving us this intro to value stream management. I think it's been really useful. Obviously, a lot more to dig into all of that and dive deeper. There's lots more, obviously, on Steve's website, so we'll provide you more information and links in the description of the video. So yeah, thank you, Steve, very much, and hopefully I'll talk to you on the next episode.
See you then. Thanks. Thanks for watching this talk. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe and support the channel. See you next time.